Welcome to the Boogie 2988 report, keeping you up to date with all the things regarding Boogie
David
2988's arrest. God damn it. I can't, I'm going to need to do a new one.
We're live.
Am I doing that again?
Ah, if you want. Fuck it, this will be the intro if you want.
Welcome to the Boogie 298 report, keeping you up to date with all things to do with Stephen Williams and his arrest. Just kidding, it's State of Podcast and we're back.
Do you know what's so weird? Of the one people that's going to listen to this podcast, they have going to be no idea what this is about.
Right, it's been an interesting five and a bit months. You know, it would have been slightly less by maybe a week, but we realized we didn't watch anything useful that came out in 2020. We had nothing but time last year, but you know, we just spent the entire time just
playing Minecraft,
dicking about, playing Minecraft, all that fun stuff.
Tennis.
There was a bit of that.
We will have a live tennis podcast episode in the future.
It's nothing to do with tennis. It's just that we attach mics to ourselves and just happen to be playing tennis at the same time. But we're just talking.
You
about
and PG owe me Oh no, I can't mention his name, can I? You and someone else owe me a pint.
Oh yeah, I mean pubs have no sign of being open yet in Ireland by the looks of it. I've been to the pub. I'm
in Manchester.
Yeah, I need to address that.
By the way, we were talking to you on Saturday, the 15th of May, 2021, at 8:48.
If anything new has come up in the arrest of Stephen Williams, please forgive us. I didn't
even know about that. But we're not going to touch on that, obviously, even though that will be the title of this
I think
podcast.
It's his real name. It might not be.
What, Boogie 2988?
I think it's Stephen Williams.
Oh, alright. Anyways, obviously, we were meant to be here sooner. Obviously, this should be titled Podcast 8.1 because of the disastrous podcast episode that was going to air, but we all unanimously agreed that it was that bad that we should retire for 5 months.
It wasn't necessarily bad, but the issue was we had a lot of ideas and we didn't actually work towards any of them.
It's what happens whenever we think of the topics for an episode like an hour beforehand.
Oh, by the way, David is back, everyone.
David, I
forgot about that.
Weeks in advance.
Well, I was only told the topics like an hour.
Anyways, no, but the problem with the last episode was mainly the fact that we were so running on empty. It was amazing, and we only recorded like 35 minutes, and we were all disconnecting. There was a lot of problems.
We were on the lead up to Christmas. Well, it was New Year or whatever it was.
Can you at least say what the theme of the last episode was?
What the best
I think we may have said it in the last one.
Yeah,
it was definitely best
of.
Really?
Yeah, it was like we were going to do the best of.
It's the problem whenever we do a best of episode, but none of us have seen anything or like can come to a conclusion on what we've seen for that year. So
or in the case of games, you just don't like any of them.
Well, the weird thing is, should we touch on that? Because David did say his favourite game last year was Cyberpunk. Is it still Cyberpunk, David?
Of last year, yeah, because I don't think I played anything else.
That's a good point. It's an excellent point.
It's a shame Resident Evil 8 didn't come out last year.
Oh, how is that? So I want to go on a bit of a tangent. So I was going to buy the new one, but I realised I hadn't played 7.
I don't think you need to, do you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's on Game Pass, so I'm playing that at the minute. Having a blast.
I went into 8 knowing everything that happened in 7, so I didn't get. I haven't played any other Resident. This is my first Resident Evil game.
Are they all connected?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like specifically the more recent two. Because I know the first 6 are, obviously, if you include.
Yeah. They are loosely connected to the first 6, and then very connected to each other.
Okay.
Yeah,
I knew that. Yeah, that part.
7 isn't as much. 7's quite self-contained for a good bit. But 8, there's a lot of references to a lot of stuff, I'd say, that has happened.
So I'll hopefully get 7 done tonight, and then I'll try and play 8.
Yeah, I loved every second of 8.
No, what else isn't it? We all have Series X's now. That happened.
That's true, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much the same.
playing Fallout 76 and 60 FPS is a beautiful, beautiful creation.
Still no Halo Infinite news?
No, that's probably not coming out. I think, well,
I think it'll come out this year.
It's coming out this year.
Yeah, I can see November.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they might want a holiday release this year.
Oh, yeah. Well, Halos are always had holiday releases, haven't they?
They always... Yeah,
Pretty
well,
sure.
near enough, I think.
Yeah, that or the release of a console. Well,
which is
specifically
usually the Christmas
first
season.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Anything come out, Alex, in the past 6 months? Something
I don't
that may
know,
have been,
because it's almost like...
something that may have been a little important.
When did we launch this podcast? What day was it? Was it November 17th, 2020?
I believe, yes. Why not?
Sorry, what was that? You didn't know what to say there, did you?
Nah, I honestly can't tell you when we started this. It doesn't even feel like 6 months. Like
Well, it's been 8.
I was shocked whenever Alex told me that it was 5 months since
Since the last one, yeah. It's pretty mad. Like, I only realised it the other day. But anyways, obviously, the main reason we started this podcast was because of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Sheer boredom
as well. But obviously, the main one's Zack Snyder's Justice League.
And also the fact that we wanted to actually think that we were spending our time wisely whenever we discuss these things.
I don't want to sound mean here, David, but what do you mean we?
Oh,
I think you were a late joiner.
I'm sorry, I forgot I was the special guest.
Well, oddly enough, we were meant to start this
we just
a year
kept
ago.
you around for sex appeal.
You kept me around whenever you came around watching The Godfather.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's pretty much right there, to be honest.
We give you months to watch The Godfather, wasn't it?
I was given far too much time for how little work
There was
I
a
put in.
significant amount of time.
I was given at least 5 weeks' notice. And I didn't do it.
But anyways, of course, oddly enough, we were meant to actually... Because we came up with this idea of doing a podcast this time last year. In the first lockdown, obviously. And we
like everyone
planned on
did.
doing it in the summer, but then, of course, I went back to work. David, you also went back to work as well. Adam decided to play tennis.
I went back to Manchester.
Yeah, you also did that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had to do something first lockdown. You know, everyone talked about something. It was definitely either set up a YouTube channel or maybe a makeup Instagram account, whatever everyone else was doing.
Because everyone was bored.
Yeah. OnlyFans had a big surge in both creators and subscribers due to boredom.
Also Adams, which is Adam the Bladum 69. You can subscribe to
Adam
him.
dressed like a madam.
That's even better. He takes pictures of erotic bananas lent on TVs. So we will put the link in the description of this if we can, as well as on our story on our Instagram story, of course, at the State of Podcasts. Also, speaking about the Instagram, we on social media alone, that's how I'm running on empty.
What?
I'm running on empty. I don't know what I was going to say.
What do you mean?
I was going to say something, I just forgot.
How do we get this back to Justice League?
Right, I'll do it.
Oh my god!
Right, I'll help this out. I'll steer it back. Anyways, we are now on Spotify. After spent far too long trying to get it on there.
After we finally understood how to do it.
He was big, yeah. By the way,
someone made an account and said everything
Beans.
to the name of Beans, and we couldn't figure out how to fix it.
I've also changed the profile picture of that account to a tin of Heinz beans.
Not Branston.
No, not Branston, obviously.
Are you allowed to do that?
Well,
What do you mean? Well, it's not like we're making money off this statement.
Yeah, that is true, actually.
We should set a GoFundMe. We're not atrocious at it. But obviously, we're on Spotify now. We're also on iTunes. And
if you donate as little as £2 a day, you can not only give us good podcast quality, but we may be able to save up enough to actually gain a sense of humour each.
Yes.
You'll also be having a
structure.
crippling addiction to movies and video games. So it's very much appreciated.
Anyways, we should probably steer it back to Justice League because this is the topic that we've been building up to in the past 7 podcasts, ending 5 months ago. So, it released to overwhelming acclaim, and we all equally loved it. And that's
it was alright.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
We all agree.
It was alright.
You're gonna hate me for this, Alex, but I thought it was just fine.
Mm.
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
But David, you've also David, right? This is what I kind of like, Adam. David seeing it from a different perspective, because he hasn't seen Man of Steel, and he's only seen the theatrical cut of BVS.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm being lenient.
I don't think that made a single difference whatsoever.
Yeah.
I was telling you this beforehand, Alex, but whenever I finished, I was like, that was 4 hours. I could have watched The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he did say this.
In that 4 hours.
Yeah. But that's but then every time I watch Lord of the Rings, I could have been like, I could have watched Justice League because I'm not Lord of the Rings.
That is true. Yeah.
It works both ways, David. It works both ways.
I don't think that's something you want to announce to the public now, Alex. I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan.
Anyways, David's only recently seen it. He saw it yesterday.
Yeah, because you told me that this episode was going to be on Justice League, so I thought, you know what,
why
this
not?
is a good enough time to actually watch it.
Yeah, I've seen it 3 or 4 times. Adam, you've seen it once or twice?
Twice. Twice. I watched it once on my own, and I watched it with my housemates. So, because I didn't want. Out of badness, they literally told me that they would purposefully just ruin it for me.
Yeah, they did say that in advance, yeah.
They warned me to just go ahead and do it myself.
Yeah.
So it was maybe like within a 3-day thing. I'd rewatched BVS and Man of Steel the week of. It didn't need to be that long, to be honest with you.
I understand people's complaints, because yes, things could have obviously been cut. I know the obvious ones being, why were the fish and woman speaking the Aquaman singing the wee sexy tune? What else? What other things are people?
We didn't need 2 scenes of Jason Momoa shirtlessly
with
slowly
a
walking
lovely
to the
musical
ocean.
number.
I was going to say, I would love to know how much money he wastes in those movies. Like, if he does that every time he goes back in the water. Like, the amount of money he spends on t-shirts.
He mainly wears
Aquaman or Jason Momoa.
The character.
Well, I assume he can have, I don't think he minds being wet, though, David.
Yeah, but he keeps, every time he, throws away a jumper or a t-shirt or something like that there, the amount of money he wastes doing that.
Yeah.
It's sad, the fact that whenever I was seeing that movie, that was the first thing I thought of. The second time he did it, I was like, I want to know how much money that man spends on t-shirts just to be throwing them away.
Why do I feel they will not explore it in an even more extended cut, where it shows the origin story of Jason Momoa's t-shirt?
It shows Jason Momoa going to a store and bulk buying t-shirts. Just having them on hand every time he wants to go in and out of the water.
Yeah, he goes into a Hot Topic, gets a fucking tank top.
So, I'm going to get some complaints out of Justice League out of the way first.
We'll get these.
Yeah.
Straight away. Obviously, we don't fully hate this film. We do love a lot of stuff about it.
There's going to be spoiled. Fuck.
Well, the problem is you can't talk about this film without spoiling it.
Yeah, I'm just too pessimistic, so we're getting into the negative first.
Go on.
Yeah.
Valid complaint. I know there's reasoning behind it, but so nightmare sequence at the end of the film, it shows Deathstroke and Batman together. But a scene prior, we see Deathstroke being lined up as the antagonist of the next film. Of course, we know we're not getting it, and we're not getting anything else. But within the logic of this film, it doesn't really work to basically set up a villain and then basically nullify that villain within the span of maybe 2 minutes. That doesn't really work.
Yeah.
For movies that typically have very good music, and there's some excellent bits of music in this film, that Wonder Woman one was painful.
Yeah, I was
really painful.
Say, the amount of times I heard that in the film, it was getting annoying near the end, I'm not gonna lie.
It fried my head.
I'll slightly... I agree with you, but I'll slightly defend it.
Not all the licensed music I felt was needed, and it was just quite clearly that Zack liked the song.
See, I think it was also, it stood out too much as well, I think, which is why I think it got on my nerves.
I was fine when it was the Amazonians when the music was playing because I thought it kind of fit them, but the fact that
because I think that's what it's meant to be. Time. It's meant to be the song of the Amazons.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what it's intentionally meant to be. Yeah.
Diana didn't need it. Diana didn't need it every time.
I think my problem
every time
is
she did something.
Oh yeah,
every
but
time.
I think the problem is with her theme. It's a war drum theme, and it's not like the Superman theme where you can slow it down into different iterations, if you know what I mean, because it's a really heavy theme. So I understand why they try to give her two. I'm not saying I personally love it. I'm just saying I understood.
It wasn't even a very good piece of music. It was a very distractingly piercing
it
piece
felt
of
like
music.
the exact same bit as well. Like it felt like the exact same bit of that theme, like just every time. Like it didn't feel like they took any other like chunk of it or anything like that. There, just I don't know.
Well, I think the only music licensed song in there that was meant to be in the film is when Flash is saving Iris, obviously, because that's an original song.
The effects weren't too great in that scene.
Right,
that was a bit of a ropey scene.
I think it's more of the fact that it's set during the day.
Yeah.
And
doesn't mean it
doesn't
good.
look as good during the day, but also the fact that they did this in quarantine.
Yeah, but that scene was in the trailer. That scene was.
Oh no, it wasn't finished though. Right. And they also had to go back in because since they actually had to go back in and redo all the CGI effects of the entire film because all the original scenes were formatted towards 16:9.
Didn't like the aspect ratio either.
They had to go back in and basically redo the entire thing because it was going to be obviously the 4:3, and it's not a case of you can just squish that. Obviously, you have to go in and redo all the effects. So it's like I'm very surprised at how good some of the effects were, given all the constraints. Like look at WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier for fuck's sake, which have equally big budgets, and were under the exact same constraints and. The effects were a lot worse, but then again, that's Marvel. I think Warner Brothers have very good visual effects.
Marvel have been very, either the effects are amazing on a film or they're really
bad,
ropey. Yeah.
Bad. Let's see what else.
Can I since we're talking about the Flash, can I say that I think I hated every single word that came out of his mouth.
What?
I did not like the Flash whatsoever.
You didn't like his jokes?
I didn't like him until his character arc kind of came full circle in the end, and I feel he lived up to the potential because he was kind of supposed to be a bit of a goofball who kind of fucked up a lot, and him kind of...
Well, it's that classic trope of the goofball saves the world at the end of...
Yeah, but
so I was fine with it by the time I got to that, and I think it was well set up enough with the scenes with his dad that I think it kind of comes full enough circle in the end to work. Whether I want to see a whole film of this coming up, we'll need to see. The only reason I'm excited for this Flash film is, of course, it's as far as we know and what it's looking like his last appearance.
We shall see.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I'm not saying that it wasn't a bad character. I'm just saying that every time he tried to do a joke or he tried to do like an awkward line, I just found it more annoying than anything.
I think
it fit his character.
Because it was less kind of like Marvel where the jokes were kind of like to humor the audience, and it was more so what this character would say in this exact scenario. So I always kind of have an issue in these superhero films. It's one of the issues I've been having with Marvel of the overuse of humor. It's one of my biggest issues in Infinity War. Yeah. A lot in Infinity War.
Yeah.
And Endgame, I give it more of a passive Endgame because I enjoy the spectacle more. But it feels at least more natural that this is what this person is saying in this situation, and it's not so much a wink at the audience to try and get them to laugh.
Oh yeah. No,
it very much makes sense within what he says.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There, I don't think there was actually any like bad comedy or anything. But whenever people were like the way you would see him as a goofball, I just saw it like just annoyingly like I don't know how to put it. I just felt really like aggravated every time he said something. I was like, oh god, just not more.
I know so many people that have that with every one of Ezra Miller's performances. To be fair, he's just one of those actors where some people he just fries some people's heads.
Yeah, like I don't know what it was, but like every time,
like me and my fucking nemesis Redmayne.
That's a story for another time.
It's a story for the state of Harry Potter.
And Fantastic Beasts, because we'll probably get a trailer for that within the year. So we'll probably we'll have to talk about
God knows I'm never watching one of those movies.
Oh, we have to, David. We watched the other two and they were awful. We have to watch the third.
One may have been the worst.
I don't mind the first one too much, but
see, I've seen every Harry Potter film. I don't know if I could ever do Fantastic Beasts.
Have you not seen them?
I've seen every one of them.
All right, that was what I'd say.
No, Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
Oh, I've not seen any of them because I'm one of them people that saw all the Harry Potter films and just went, that was grand, and then never watched them again.
Well, it's sort of like that, sort of like Hunger Games kind of vibe, where it's just like, yeah. Or even Marvel now, where it's just like, everyone watches them. You know.
I mean,
yeah. Anyways, back to Justice League.
Well, complaints. How about we'll bridge it in. Oh, never mind. I'll stay on the complaints. I was just gonna make a David Thewlis joke.
No, just keep doing. No, keep doing complaints, and then we'll work on the shit we loved.
Yeah. What other complaints did I have? Oh fuck! I was really taken off topic here. Oh, well.
We're talking about the
Epilogue was a bit drawn out. To be fair, now.
Yeah.
It was a bit rough at times. I have a lot of complaints with how the movie's kind of been perceived, both good and bad.
In what kind of way? Go on.
So, there's some people who were really annoyed that the Green Lantern thing wasn't in it, and I'm frankly glad it wasn't in it. Jesus Christ, would that come out of nowhere? That would have been awful.
Yeah,
that would have been really bad.
Because I wasn't sure what was what would have happened in the film and stuff like that. I didn't know if there was going to be a Green Lantern, so I was just going through it waiting for it to happen, and I was actually happy that it didn't.
Well, because the weird thing was, I understand why he was going to do it, because in the third Justice League film, well, we'll get to that another time anyways, go on. We'll talk about what the original plan was at some stage, go on.
Is it still me?
No, you were saying, go
on. The Martian Manhunter effect was not great.
Keep in mind, that was very good considering it was literally fucking months before the release, and it wasn't a proper motion capture performance.
Yeah, there was something a little off about the scene with Lois and Martha, because it's actually quite a nice scene, but then when the fact that it's not
I don't like it as a scene, because it's not Martha, because the way she's talking to her, and even Lois has this kind of confused expression on her face.
See, since I haven't seen Man of Steel or the extended cut of BVS,
you know who it was?
Oh, this is grand, until then whenever Martha walked out and then the eyes went red, and I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Oh yeah, you must be so fucking confused.
I was just sitting there like, alright, I knew it was Martian Manhunter then. Yeah. I was like, alright, I'm just gonna roll with it.
Yeah.
That happened.
BVS is the extended cut is probably the best in the trilogy. I'm just gonna put that out.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Easily my favorite as well.
I prefer BVS. Justice League dragged at many points.
I do prefer Justice League to Man of Steel though.
Yeah, I'd love to see a 3-hour cut of this film.
See, I was going to watch Man of Steel and the extended cut of BVS, but at the same time, I wasn't bothered.
We'll probably watch them this summer. We'll watch them this summer. I get back.
We'll have a commentary.
I think I'm just superhero films.
David, you say that, but you know who's coming back at the end of this year?
Season 3?
Oh, that's not what I'm on about. David, you know who's coming back at the end of this year.
Wait, who?
You fucking our favourite.
Toby.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's
Andrew Garfield.
Like the exception. That is
but you're going to watch Venom too.
That's true.
Yeah.
So.
Did you see a trailer for that, David?
I did.
That's good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's alright.
Why were people obsessing over it? It looked shit.
Listen,
it looked
no,
fucking
I don't know why
shit.
people are pissed off. It just looks like the same as the first one. I'm fine with that.
The first one was shit. The first one was not a good film.
I love it.
the
It's
first
such
one.
a great gay romantic comedy, and I love
but
it.
The thing with Venom 2, whenever I watched that trailer, none of the comedy landed. It felt like a normal Marvel movie in that aspect, where every time they tried to make a joke or anything, I just sat there like.
Well, I love the start because it's just like you can see Eddie's just like, oh fucking sick of this shit.
Yeah.
I like the Carnage design. It looks really good.
Yeah, I like the tendrils and stuff.
Yeah, I was impressed with that.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not like comedy based, like a normal Marvel.
Oh, it will
movie.
be.
Oh, will be. It'll be the same as
Actually, to be honest with you, it looks like it could be almost very James Gunn-like.
Yeah, but I don't think none of it.
I think the
lasted.
comedy
don't
will
know if that's
work
just
with the
me.
horror aspect.
Mm.
Obviously, it's not going to be R-rated. I think we all know that because the last one
Yeah,
nearly made $1
sadly.
billion and it was PG-13.
It is a shame.
But I hate the
It's
fact
such a shame, just the fact that if the US had the UK rating system, everything would be fine.
Yeah.
Because a 15 is not a PG-13.
Yeah.
Deadpool is rated R, but Deadpool is a 15. 15-year-olds can see Deadpool.
Yeah.
Rated R is ridiculous to say 18-year-olds you have to be 18 to see Deadpool. If it was 15 and America moved it to 15, we could have movies that more people could see because you'd still get the teenage market because 15-year-olds are the fucking teenage market.
Yeah.
And it would
It is, like,
it would
the
be
ideal
so much better than aiming to 13-year-olds. Because
Oh,
13-year-olds are
definitely.
fucking children, like. I understand why if 13-year-olds, the demographic you're aiming for, the stuff you have to cut out. But if you just move it up to 15 like it is in the UK,
Yeah, I think
we could
15 and
have,
above
it would be
is
so
the-
much better.
Yeah, like I think 15 and above is like probably the best demographic, I'd say.
It's so much more
For-
reasonable. Like, Logan was a
especially for these
16.
type-
That's fine.
Yeah.
Those
Especially for
kind of,
these
like,
types of
edgier
movies, like-
superhero films, yeah.
Oh yeah. 'Cause a
And,
lot of people
like,
are going
you'd,
to-
you'd
like,
still get the
yeah.
audience.
Yeah. Very true.
Oh, well.
Well,
We'll
I
take-
don't think
well-
we're going to be the ones to change the American ratings.
We'll start a petition, change.org. Sign this.
That's funny, though. Why was Justice League rated R?
Yeah.
I was
Why?
actually surprised by the amount of like.
It's
violent-
very
not violence.
tame.
It's
It's very tame. Do you know
It's
what
a
it is?
film.
Right, I'll explain why. The MPAA works solely by blood. Blood is the main thing they don't
Yeah.
like.
Isn't it like a way a lot of movies get out of it is if they change the color of blood to make it like.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
do like
It
It
blue
was like
ooze
Taxi
or
Driver, for
something.
example, yeah.
'Cause I think that was why like. I might be wrong on this, but isn't that why like the elites in Halo had like blue blood and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because that's the same
They-
why the Predator and Predator films and the Aliens have green blood.
Mm.
Because you can get away with it because it's an alien's blood, it's not,
Yeah, it's not like.
And zombies
That
get
could be,
away with it.
that could be anyone's ooze.
That's because.
I don't have to say that again.
It's a
What?
Simpsons line.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
sure, that's
is it?
why, like, Mortal Kombat, for example, got that just R rating. Because it wasn't that brutal. Like, it was
What, the
very
film?
tame. It wasn't, like...
The
most-
film?
Yeah,
Really?
the film,
I
the
didn't
recent
watch it.
one. I watched
Nah,
it. It
I
wasn't
watched
that... It was literally... There was just a lot of blood sometimes, and that's why I'm like, okay, I
The
understand. why
film
it's
just
got
looked kind of shitty to me, to be
this.
honest.
Right.
It
The
looked so bad.
the last 3 Warner Brothers films I watched, excluding Justice League, were Wonder Woman 84.
Bad.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
every
exactly.
single one of them
Wonder
bad.
Woman 84, Godzilla v Kong, and Mortal Kombat.
I haven't seen a single one of them.
And all 3 of them had studio interference from Warner Brothers, and they
I was
all were
in a
downfall from that.
Bit of a state when I watched Godzilla Kong, and it was still a bad movie.
It's a bad film, because it
It
would
was
have
so
benefited
bad.
from being longer. Because it just jumps every once in a while. Like, stuff just constantly happens. David, there's very few times where you can pause. And, like, where films give you, like, a wee bit of a pause.
Yeah.
If you watch that in cinema, there'd be no point to take a piss. Like,
No.
Oh god.
Literally.
it's not even like let's say Pacific Rim where there's a boring scene where they're like, the
Exposition.
things
Yeah,
have big
basically.
fucking machines. And, it's a nuclear one. That's why this
'Cause
one's
the
not breaking. Or
exposition's
some
in the
boring
action.
exposition.
That was the
They
problem.
could put away from the action to just have some people being like, Mechagodzilla can't be stopped. Blah 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 blah.
Right, you
but,
know, in like
it's
the
still, you can
third
still see
act,
the fighting going on in the background. Like,
yeah, you're like in the third act of an action film or like superhero film or something like that. They always have like that one scene. It only happens in the third act of the film, like in the big climax where they cut away to the exposition where they figure it out. Imagine that in every single act. And at least twice, because it happens so frequently and it's so unnecessary and it ruins the film. And the fact that they're going to make another one now.
Oh yeah, probably a lot of money though, so why
Oh
not?
yeah. Oh definitely. Well, I mean, I watched it. I paid the fucking
well,
watch it.
apparently it's made enough money to justify a sequel.
Yeah, it's going to be like a Kong film, obviously. Son of Kong.
Yeah, because Toho, unless they renegotiate it, so as far as my understanding is, after the first Well, when they made the 2014 Legendary film, Toho were still the deal was that Toho could still make live action films.
Mm.
And then when it came time for King of the Monsters and Godzilla Kong, I believe they wanted exclusivity for live action films during that time.
Was that because
Which
Shin
is
Godzilla
why-
was a better film?
Could have been. Well, people definitely, a lot of Godzilla purists were kind of like, they preferred kind of the way Shin Godzilla updated things as opposed to the way the 2014 one did. But because since after Shin Godzilla, we haven't had a live action film since Shin Godzilla, and there's been animes at the minute, so they've been doing
Netflix, for
animes
example.
instead. So they did the trilogy of Godzilla Earth, which that wasn't very good. That was. I watched the first one and I just I watched bits of the second and third and I kind of read up on what happened because they were diabolically boring. And now there's a new one coming out which looks a bit more kind of kiddie, but it's like Jet Jaguar's like the main character or something.
Oh no.
And I'm like, David, you know my love of Jet Jaguar. It's like some kid
Yeah.
piloting like a fucking Megazord of Jet Jaguar or something like that.
I was. It might be one of the most shocking moments of my life whenever you told me to Google that as a Godzilla villain, and then we just spend like hours ripping into it.
He's not a villain, David. He's an ally to Godzilla and an ally
is he?
to mankind.
Sorry. My mistake.
Who can shrink down to the size of a man and live amongst the humans.
I mean, Jet Jaguar alone just proves why Warner Brothers decided not to have allowed them live action rights.
Well, to be fair, Jet Jaguar was like in the 70s. Like, it's not like they did that in the 2000s.
You know they would try, Adam. You know they would try.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. Because in the 2000s, Godzilla films were much kind of more grounded. They're very explosion and action based.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you said grounded, I was like, I'm just thinking of Final Wars.
Final Wars is considerably more grounded than some of them. Although, because compared to Jet Jaguar,
David.
it's very balls to the wall.
Very balls.
Like
you don't get a breather sometimes.
In the 70s or 80s, Godzilla became way more of a good guy, and not even kind of like how he was a good guy. And let's say the King of the Monsters film.
Yeah.
Like, it was almost ridiculous. Like, and just some of the outlandish things they'd have him do. Like, there was a bit where he just jumps in the air and just breathes fire and flies away. Or there's a very famous bit where he does a drop kick. Where he, like, Jet Jaguar grabs the monster and he holds him back. And Godzilla gets a big running start and drop kicks him.
See, that's the thing though. If Warner Brothers did stuff like that, I would immediately watch it. Like, if you told me King of Monsters had a Godzilla drop kicking someone, I would immediately watch it.
Imagine Kong trying to drop kick Godzilla.
Well, you'll get a kick out of this, David. So, I think it was AVGN gave this piece of trivia in his Godzilla-thon. And it was in one of the translations of that Godzilla film, Jet Jaguar in it, they said that Jet Jaguar is actually King Kong in a suit.
Bollocks.
Yeah, I think it might be in like
How?
German. It's like in the German or something translation.
Have you seen the helmet?
So there's a really funny thing. So the Godzilla films, for a lot of the translations that were in the English ones, even some of the English ones, they didn't bother doing the story one for one. They kind of just made it up. And they've named the monsters whatever. Like, in some of the Godzilla films, he's named Godzilla's literally named Frankenstein. because they were releasing it in Germany, and the name Frankenstein kind of carries a lot in the Monsterverse for kind of the German market.
Yeah.
So like they'll literally just do whatever the fuck, like just to try and turn money around.
Oh my.
And like, it's very funny the production of a lot of these films, because a lot of the Godzilla films didn't even start as Godzilla films, but like very late into production, when everything was written and planned out, they just changed the main monster to be Godzilla. Just because well, it was mainly just for financial reasons.
Yeah. I see where JJ he was up to his old tricks again, was he?
Honestly, if anyone was to make a Godzilla film, I wouldn't mind seeing Abrams. I wouldn't mind seeing Abrams do it.
He'd make a Cloverfield thing at the end. He did to us where it was just like Cloverfield.
Yeah, you lagged out a lot there, Alex.
Oh, did I?
I'm hoping that.
No, he didn't lag at me.
Okay, I
just
didn't say anything, so. We didn't miss out on anything.
I'm so perplexed on how Godzilla, King Kong would fit in this suit.
Oh, you're looking up Jet Jaguar.
Oh, right.
I'm going down this
David, the head
hole.
and the beak, it sort of has a beak nearly.
I love it. There was one Godzilla game I own for the original Xbox. I think it's Save the Earth. I think, because there were 3 of them.
I was thinking of the PlayStation 4 Godzilla game.
Oh, jeez, that one. So in the PS2 kind of era, there was 3 Godzilla games released. It was King of the it was Destroy All Monsters Melee, Save the Earth, and Unleashed. And the one I had, I think that was Save the Earth. You could play as Jet Jaguar, but he could shrink and grow and all, so you could make him tiny, and just like his speed would be mad. He's been running about.
He sort of looks like Clank from Ratchet and Clank.
Not in the slightest.
But if Japanese design of it.
Was it anything like us discovering the atom in Injustice 2?
Yeah, it's a lot like that. It's a lot like that.
Oh, the atom.
Oh my god, we laughed. I couldn't play that match of Injustice 2 because I spent the entire time laughing at it.
I can't play Injustice 2 anymore. You know what? Fuck it. He might end up watching this. PJ, you're well known to ruin Injustice. So
this is a public statement.
Anyone who doesn't,
how is he gonna watch? How is he gonna listen to this? He doesn't have Instagram.
We can tell him. We can.
Anyone who doesn't know this man,
should I send it
he
to him?
is well known for a couple.
I'll send
him send him a video right now. Send him a video right now of me saying Adam's calling out.
Yeah.
I'll fight him publicly in Injustice.
That would be. Can we do it like a charity fundraiser?
We can Twitch channel out of this.
That would be brilliant.
I've been trying to get you to do that for a while, dude. So this man just Injustice was a bit of fun for us all. It was a bit of fun for everyone involved. You know, we'd pick a random fighter. We'd know the moves a little bit. You kind of know something, some basic combos. You kind of figure it out as you go. So this wasn't good enough for this man. You know, you couldn't just have a bit of fun with it. He doesn't like picking random fighters because then he might not win. He learns off the same 3 fucking fighters, and he picks them over and over again. And they're not even basic fighters. You know, he chooses the Conti OP ones.
Yep.
Like David, who would you say was the most egregious one in terms of being too OP and him only playing as him?
Oh, Sub-Zero.
Oh my God, Sub-Zero.
I thought you were going to say the Flash.
It was the Flash until we made the horrible, and I mean horrible, decision to buy the DLC pack for that game. Because then he got his hands on Sub-Zero, and then everything went downhill.
Do you remember when I played him?
So Alex had never played Injustice.
I've only played Mortal Kombat X, and that was years ago.
It's on Game Pass. He sees that we're playing it. He sees we have a fun time. You know, he's like, oh, you know what?
Fun in quotations. It's fun for about 3 games, and then you
it's heinous. It's heinously heinous.
It was like a 5-second match.
Alex, I want to hop on with these guys. Maybe maybe I could join in the fun. Maybe it could be the 4 of us playing this. We could all enjoy it.
King of the Hill, wasn't it? It was King of the Hill.
We were doing King of the Hill. Yeah, if someone hasn't played a fighting game like that,
when you explain,
unless the person who's coming on is chatting mad shit and deserves it, you take it a little bit easy on them.
Yeah, you choose a character that you have no experience with just to be on their level.
Yeah, but also like you also do kind of take it easy on them.
Because they don't know the controls for a start.
Yeah, they don't know the
movesets or anything like
that.
Yeah. I'm gonna refresh my thing because I'm getting a lot of lag.
Okay.
Yeah, you're lagging a little bit.
I'm pausing. Hold on.
So and then you might give the person some time to look at a lot of time to look at the moves. They haven't played the game before. They kind of want to learn because there's a bit of a pattern to these fighting games. Everyone kind of has maybe like a down forward X or something, or a down back something. Everyone kind of has a few similar ones.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even give Alex time to look. He immediately goes in and just throws a piece of ice at him like.
That was the warning shot.
He had Sub-Zero as well.
He chose Sub-Zero.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, who was I?
You were probably Superman or
no, I think it was like Dr. Fate or something.
What?
I think it was Dr. Fate.
Oh god.
Maybe you were Dr. Fate.
Yeah. I was the Atom.
He was the Atom.
I was the Atom. That's what it was. Because I fought him again as Dr. Fate.
Alex does one fight and then promptly decides that he will not be going back on Injustice.
So I uninstall the game.
To be fair, that's how like all of our sessions go. We'll play King of the Hill and Injustice 2 for about 2 to 3 hours, and then we'll get to a point where we all uninstall the game for months.
Well, no, it's usually that I uninstall the game.
Because he destroys you. Even though he, in quotations, abides by the rules.
No, he goes mental when I force him to go random.
Yeah.
He goes
and then he doesn't go random. Do you remember when he was playing me and you said, PJ, you have to go random? And then, of course, it lands on Sub-Zero.
Yeah, he fakes it so much. He fakes it so fucking much.
And he knows the control scheme to go around.
Right.
Oh.
It's pretty diabolical.
It really is.
So I'm calling him out. If he wants to do it, we can go. We both got to go random. That's the rules. No, I don't want any Sub-Zero.
We're calling him out to come on to this podcast to defend his antics.
Defend his fucking title as well. Like.
If he is going to listen to this, which I know he will because I'll send him this clip specifically, we will talk about these instances because this is only one of the few stories we have.
Don't send him the clip, Alex. Upload it first. Give him a timestamp and then tell him to go. We need the views.
Don't even give him a timestamp. Just make him watch the entire episode.
Yeah, it's like we mention you, and then I actually cut this part out and leave it at the very. Actually, do you want to just end the episode now? No, I'm joking. No, because you'll just skip to the end. See, if we leave it in the middle-ish area, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
But anyways, obviously we're gonna chat about this every single week until you come on. To defend yourself, because we have many Injustice stories, and not just Injustice. There are other ones as well.
There are other instances where he has done similar egregious acts.
What was the other one again? No, not GTA. What was it?
I can't remember.
He was getting too big for his boots, anyways. Let's just say
he's always getting too big for his boots.
Probably Gun Game.
It might have been. It was probably.
It was. Anyways,
to be fair though, Adam, you have no right to criticize anyone in Call of Duty Gun Game.
I agree, David. I agree with you.
If anyone out there is wondering what this man does, is he will make it so that if you get knifed once, you are back at the starter gun, no matter what. And then will purposefully go out of his way to make your life hell for the next hour in Gun Game.
You don't laugh. You know what your antics are. You know what you're like.
There.
He knows what he's like. He's laughing away now. You see, I take out my vengeance, not in video game format on Adam and PJ. I do it in tennis form. It's the only thing I have against them.
That's pretty funny.
Anyways, to close it off, hopefully, and come full circle, the good points.
The good points of Justice League.
The good points of Justice League. You've had to wait a whole episode to hear what we like about the fucking
the main thing I'm gonna tell you that I loved. I was chatting shit about the music earlier, but some of the music,
banging.
It's honestly some of the most beautiful things I've ever heard,
and some of the most beautiful visual effects at points.
Anyway, the music. So the Foundation theme, the Crew at Warpath, Superman Part 2. Oh, Superman Part 2. Superman Part 2. I wake up to that now because it's the only thing that gets me through the day.
Well, actually, that was the song I played on our story when I published the "We Will Return in 20 Days."
That was just him trying to get me to come back.
I had little Easter eggs here and there.
This has been like the original concept for Ghostbusters 3. He's Aykroyd and I'm Murray. I just wasn't doing it.
I'm gonna die at some point.
He is both Harold Ramis
Yes.
and Dan Aykroyd. The Flash at the Speed Force, I think it's called, or something like that.
Yeah, at the speed of the speed of force or something like that. Yeah.
Something like that was very excellent. Like music at time. The first fight, the recreation of the first fight sequence. So it's interesting. There's something, and whenever I've kind of talked to people about the Superman Part 2 scene, they all kind of disagree with me. Not disagree, but they don't. It didn't impact them nearly as much as it did me, because the scene was very well built up to in terms of getting Superman to the point, and it's just, why is no one talking about the fact that, because I have a big issue in Justice League 2017 that they don't play the right themes.
Yes.
Like at all.
Where it's they're like, for example,
they literally just play Reeves' theme, and they literally just play Keaton's theme.
Yeah.
Like, when you watch the film, you're fucking,
it's jarring.
I'm honestly surprised you don't hear fucking Wonder Woman play in the background, like. But like, so then John kicks out at something rather great. So people have a big issue because they love conceptually Reeves Superman.
Yeah.
And why is no one pointing out that Junkie XL managed to merge the themes in a rather genius way?
Yeah.
So typically the Man of Steel theme, the first fight kind of thing, or Look to the Stars, I think it might be called.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually played on piano.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was quite genius was play the exact same song but do it on the do it on the brass, as the original one was done. Which basically kind of invokes the original one while being Cavill. Oh my god. And it didn't seem to really sit that well with anyone. It's not sit well with anyone because people enjoy it, but like it blew me away. I think it's like one of the greatest pieces of music in all the film.
Well, that's weird because like that's literally my initial thoughts, because it had that just booming anthem that is kind of Reeves' theme, but it's obviously Cavill's theme at the same time. And it just fits really well into that build-up of that scene. Because that's kind of the problem with the previous film's third act, whereas it's just like, he has one scene, and then they're just fighting and stuff. Whereas we get a lot of Superman scenes cut in here and there before we actually see his entrance, if you know what I mean.
But they play the more hopeful version of the song, which is the piano version.
Yeah.
As opposed to the more triumphant version, which is the brass version. And, cut you off there, Alex. Guess what time it is? It's time for my new segment.
Oh.
Dave, what did David like about this superhero film? David, you got to name something you actually liked about this superhero film. Go.
Well, one thing I will say that I actually wanted to talk about is how much of an improvement Cyborg's character was in this film.
Hey.
I actually loved Cyborg in this film just because he actually felt like such a good character, and I was shocked going into it.
Yeah.
Especially compared to Wheaton's. Like,
Well, I mean, a deep character as opposed to token black man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think Cyborg was probably my favorite character out of this film.
Well, he was the heart of
he
the
had
film.
So much depth. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because like I knew that going in, because like that was the thing that Zack had always said, that in my cut, Cyborg's actually kind of the heart of the film, and you can really see that,
Oh yeah.
Like obviously the Flash got a massive character improvement.
Yeah, but
No, we know you're feeling that, but the one I was surprised at so much was obviously Cyborg.
Yeah.
Actually, one that people don't necessarily talk about as much that I think needs more mention is Batman.
Oh yeah.
So I rewatched the 2017 version with my brother, and he was like, "There's a scene they added of Batman and Alfred in the Brown Room of Death."
Yes.
And it was like, it's a scene of him talking about his skill about Superman's death. He was like, "No, but you need this scene." And I'm like, "Well, not really, because a big issue with the scene is he acts like he does in BVS. It's the more angry man. It's the more grizzled man. And the whole point is that he's not. He's trying not to be that.
He's a hopeful man now.
He's not operating on reason. He's operating entirely on faith, which is something I'm trying to kind of live by recently. Yeah. But that's just more pretentious than anything. Yeah. I don't feel enough kind of people are talking about how much they added to it. And now actually, obviously he's not wrapped up his character arc, but it's not a bad end to him. If they honestly ended it there, it wouldn't be the worst.
Where it kind of went like he had this entire kind of like.
He's found his kind of purpose. Yeah. He's at peace.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with that kind of like closing shot in the epilogue.
Yeah, where he has the smile
BVS.
on him.
Yeah.
I have to ask.
I mean, who knows? Maybe.
What did you say, dude?
Go on.
Yeah, dude. Sorry.
I was gonna say, is the whole point of this segment about asking me what
random
about the film? Is that random, or is it just the fact that you know my stance on superhero?
No,
films?
we're just gonna both. We're gonna just randomly do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it in.
Like we could be talking about FIFA, heaven forbid, and we'll just randomly be like, what do you think of what's your favorite thing about Iron Man 2, David? We're gonna do that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Brilliant.
What are you gonna say anyway, Adam? Sorry for
boy, I can't remember. Yeah, it was just I don't know. if the Flash is the end of the road for him, let's just hope they do it well.
Yeah.
I mean, Affleck has everything he wants. He has his relationship with the good Jennifer back.
Well, Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
This could be libelous.
This really could be.
What?
I would like to clarify, we do not know Jennifer Lopez, nor Jennifer Garner, nor Ben Affleck, or anyone mentioned in this other than PJ.
Nor is anything that we say considered the truth about any of these situations.
Let's remember the description of this podcast. It is slowly based upon biased, controversial opinions, okay? Let's just end it there.
Does that mean that we're immune to slander now then?
Well, slander.
I think it's yeah, labels printed.
Great Spider-Man.
I rewatched that film a few weeks ago.
We will have hopefully soon.
Barely though. It's on.
We'll have one on that trilogy.
What anniversary is it this year?
5th?
Oh, it's since 2017 was the first time we did it. So.
Oh really?
Or 4th?
Yeah.
No, 5th then technically, isn't it?
What?
This will be the
5 years.
5. We've been doing it for 5 years, half a decade.
We'll talk about it on this.
Doing it for
a couple of episodes.
Maybe we'll get a certain. Maybe we'll get a certain someone on for that episode.
Hopefully he can defend himself in his actions and his views towards.
I'm not joking. It'd be easier to get Willem Dafoe on than to get him on.
He probably, weirdly enough, Willem Dafoe would just walk by, one of our houses, be like, "Oh, what are you doing? Like, do you want to come on?
Do you need me to get my dick out?"
That's one thing I loved. I was really happy whenever I seen him in this film. I was overjoyed.
Oh yes.
Because I haven't.
You'd forgotten he was going to be in it.
See, I haven't seen Aquaman.
Oh right, fair enough.
I was just kind of going through this film. I was like, oh, there's Willem Dafoe, and then I was sad again whenever he left.
It was in 2 scenes, then fucks off.
Yeah.
He's in the end of the film.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 2 scenes. Anyways, we have to wrap it up here. Any closing statements?
Restore the Snyderverse.
Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Hashtag I stand with Ray Fisher. And every other hashtag that's recently trending with this fandom. And also, we will hopefully, in the next episode, be talking about Army of the Dead, Zack's new film, coming out the Friday that this podcast comes out. So the day after this podcast comes out. And remember to follow us on Buzzsprout, our podcast provider, as well as follow us on Instagram at the State of Podcast.
Boogie. And free Boogie 2988.
Good night, everyone.